Today we're here with Anders Jones, CEO of Facet Wealth. Facet Wealth is a next-generation financial life management services firm which is focusing on serving the mass affluent through technology-enabled advice. Anders, thanks so much for joining us here.
Jimmy, great to be here.
So, Anders, let's just cut right to it. Why do financial advisors work with you?
It's a great question. So, for starters, Facet partners with financial advisory firms to help them build and maintain really healthy practices. So oftentimes firms that we work with are facing some pain point, whether it's a capacity issue where they can't service their existing clients and grow at the same time, maybe a profitability issue, sometimes it's a branding issue, and a lot of times they have in their mind a strategic initiative or two or three that they would like to undertake to solve that problem, but they don't have the time or the resources to do that.
They're being held back by one of those three, or maybe all of those problems.
Exactly. It turns into a little bit of a vicious cycle. So what Facet does is we partner with these firms to be sort of that strategic enabler. And the way that we do it is we help them segment their client book, and we identify the clients that aren't a good fit for their service model or their sort of practice type. And then we actually transition those clients over to Facet. So let me give you a real easy example. A lot of times we work with financial advisory firms that have a stated minimum of $500,000. So they don't work with clients that have less than $500,000. But over the years, they've taken on friends of friends or referrals or whoever, and it turns out that 30% of their client book is below $500,000.
And doesn't fit their minimum.
Doesn't fit their minimum. And if they're charging the traditional 1% model, those clients are paying them $2,000, $3,000 a year, which is highly likely to be unprofitable for that firm. So Facet will actually purchase those client relationships from the advisor, transition them over to Facet, and then free up time and resources and actually inject capital into that advisor's business so that they can then pursue whatever strategic initiative they have on the horizon, whether it's a technology build out or hiring another advisor or expanding their office or undergoing a marketing campaign to look for that next $1 million plus client. And then we also maintain a partnership. So it's not just a transaction. We keep working with those advisors to help them as they continue to grow. A lot of times what will happen is they'll get prospective clients that come in that don't meet their minimums. And instead of trying to onboard them or just turning them away, they'll send those clients over to Facet. We'll give them a great experience, full planning relationship with a dedicated CFP at an affordable price, and make that advisor look like a hero for having us as a resource.
Awesome. Now, after the transition happens, talk to me a little bit about the client experience and what you guys are able to offer them in terms of this proprietary technology you've developed.
Sure. So it's funny. We're a financial services company. We're also a tech company. To our end client, we look exactly like their old advisor relationship. So they have a dedicated CFP. They're getting full planning. We do have some really cool client dashboards and things like that, but it's very much a human-to-human personal relationship. But then sort of under the hood, we've built this really awesome proprietary tech platform that makes our advisors a lot more efficient so they can work with a higher number of clients. And that's where we're able to lower the end cost to the client. So the easiest way to think about it is this. We believe that a financial advisor's highest and best use is time in front of the client. The reason why people hire a financial advisor is so that they can have that really high touch, high quality, dedicated relationship. Everything that's not time in front of the client is really kind of a waste of that advisor's time. So all of our tech is geared towards taking anything that's not client facing and automating it. Right now, if you're doing full planning for a client, you're probably spending about 3 hours of prep and wrap up time for every 1 hour of client facing time. So the platform, it's an unbelievable amount of work just to get in front of the client. So the platform that we've built is really around how do we get that 3 hours as close to zero as possible for our own advisors. And right now we're well under an hour, and we're just going to keep working towards that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So why Baltimore?
Yeah, it's another good question. So, I spent the last 12 years in Silicon Valley and San Francisco working in the tech world out there. And as the founding team and I were kind of getting ready to start Facet, we said, hey, where else is there innovation outside of Silicon Valley? And we'd really developed this thesis that innovation is everywhere, and that, while Silicon Valley is very good at taking ideas and scaling them quickly, it's actually not that great at pure innovation. So, it turns out that there are pockets of software developers all over the country that are just as highly qualified as someone who's sitting in San Francisco. And for what we're doing in financial services, we said, there's got to be a city that is better than San Francisco that has, that has that sort of legacy financial services talent. So we sort of underwent a search and looked at a bunch of different cities, ended up in Baltimore, which is sort of a great mix of technical talent, financial services, and then a much lower cost of living and higher quality of life. And also, I know I've lived there for 2.5 years. It's got this really cool kind of like post-industrial revival vibe that's going on.
Yeah, resurgence.
Exactly. Yeah. And, people are moving there for us. So we've, our team right now is about 30 people and growing. Will be probably double that by the end of this year. So in the next 3 months. And we found that not only are we able to find great talent within Baltimore, but also people are actually really excited to move there and kind of be a part of the scene.
Now, it's not just Baltimore, though, because you do have a team of CFPs that are growing.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about them.
Absolutely. So another kind of key innovation in our model is that we have a distributed team of CFPs. So we're not focused on building a call center with a bunch of CFPs in any one space. Our advisors work from their homes. We have them, I believe, right now in 8 or 9 different states. And then we've built all of the tools and technology and obviously compliance guardrails so that advisors can work from their home and we can still safeguard client data, but they can have a much more flexible lifestyle. And we're really focused on figuring out what is the financial advisor job of the future, and that's a big part of our model. But once again, talent's everywhere. We have advisors in Ohio, in Oregon, in Florida, and everywhere in between.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We'll be paying attention, Anders.
For sure.
And for more information on Anders and his team, visit facetwealth.com.